Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of You Were There. We have so much lined up for you today. As always, unbelievable stories of transformation across Africa and beyond. Every life that we meet, every community that we come across gets a revamp from broken to restored, just like the community in our first story. The people of Alakio had learned to be forgotten, isolated by the dreadful event that happened in the recent past. So when CBN partners brought medical aid to their community, it wasn't just an intervention, it was a trigger to believe again.
Alakio, a sleepy community in Nassarawa State, Nigeria, has been in the news a lot in the recent past for the wrong reasons. A fiery mix of politics, armed Fulani herdsmen, local militia and security personnel resulted in much carnage and the loss of many lives. For months after, Alakio was a no-go area even for the stout-hearted. But one man who braved the odds to offer a helping hand to the few remaining residents was Pastor Adamu Muhammad.
Before I was asked to go to Alakio, 9 other pastors had refused because of the high level of insecurity in the community at that time.
I asked my husband, did God call you into ministry so that you'll be sent only to troubled regions?
I prayed in the night. God told me to go and assured me I will not have any problems. So the following morning, I said to my wife, this is what God said.
Fighting just ended in Alakio, and the people are not yet living in peace, and you are being sent to Alakio. As for me, I will remain here.
When I got to Alakio, people were just beginning to return and settle in gradually. The first thing I did was to ensure we were all gathered in one place. Nobody slept in their houses because we were very few, so we stayed together and fellowshipped.
Pastor Muhammad was determined to make a difference, but he knew that alone there was little he could do, so he contacted CBN. Beyond the fears of insecurity, our team of medical experts swung into action. They arrived at Alakio with the aim of restoring hope and providing a platform for a fresh start.
A success story is well appreciated when we go down memory lane of past struggles. This is Alakio, a community in Nassarawa State where over 70 security operatives were ambushed and killed in May 2013. This village was reported to have been invaded and burnt down alongside neighboring communities. Alakio, which was once deserted, has nearly 2,000 people gathered at the center of the village in search of answers to their medical need. The Christian Broadcasting Network has put together a 1-week free medical mission to meet the needs of the people.
They came in their numbers, from far and near, to partake in the help that was available to all. But with the influx of people from other neighboring communities, how prepared is the medical team for the assignment?
We are ready to meet and provide care for all of them that are gathered here this morning.
This difference was only possible because committed men and women sacrificed to be an extension of hope and love through their voluntary services.
I feel so happy that God is also using me to affect life positively.
It gives us great joy because some of them would have been suffering some ailments for years, ages. Some of them could not have afforded some of these diagnoses.
I am speaking also to other professionals out there to also use the talent that God has given to them to render selfless and free services to those people who are really in dire need of them.
The people of Alakio expressed their joy and a renewed sense of hope.
CBN, we thank you for the help you brought our way. We received drugs for free. My sister got drugs for malaria, while I got drugs for typhoid. Thank you so much.
Professional doctors diagnosed me. I am very grateful because I got drugs and I know that these drugs will help to restore my health.
I had forgotten at the time to encourage him with the word of God. I now believe God sent us to Alakio. There's work to be done. There are lives that need to be restored. Maybe our reason for coming here is to encourage those who feel rejected and abandoned.
Seeing that CBN carried out this medical mission to Alakio, the people were overjoyed. In fact, they were so grateful that they wanted to carry me on their backs. I am thankful to God, and I'm also thankful to CBN. I pray that God will continue to open doors for CBN.
Even though it was a medical mission, the people of Alakio were convinced they had received a touch that was greater than their medical needs.
I'm so glad the people of Alakio got a dose of health and restoration. By choosing to respond to a cry of help, you CBN partners started a movement of hope. How's that for a story of change? Well, coming up next, another man's journey from hopelessness to restoration. Check it out.
3 years ago, the Espino children were abandoned by their parents. Since then, 17-year-old Eduardo and 16-year-old Jade have been looking after their younger brother and sister. Eduardo works as a taxi driver, using this rented pedicab bicycle. Every penny he makes goes towards expenses and the basics.
Sometimes, after I pay off the rent for the bike taxi, all I can afford is a loaf of bread. I wish I could go back to school and get a better job.
Then a typhoon destroyed their home and everything they owned. They barely escaped with their lives.
The flood was more than 10 feet high. We were forced to climb onto the roof of our neighbor's house.
When the waters receded, the brothers scavenged for wood and metal to build this shanty.
When it rains, the roof leaks. It's hard to sleep.
When CBN met Eduardo and Jade, the first thing we did was bring all the materials needed to build them a brand new house, high above the floodplain. Eduardo couldn't have been more excited.
I have always dreamed of having a house with a second floor. It's come true thanks to CBN. Now, we all sleep comfortably, and we don't worry when it rains.
Next, we gave Eduardo his own bicycle taxi, so he doesn't have to rent one anymore. Then we gave his brother Jade a barber kit, since he had taught himself to cut hair with an old pair of scissors.
CBN has given me a chance to finish school and work for myself. With the bicycle taxi, all my earnings will go to provide for my brothers and sister. I won't waste this opportunity.
Now that's what I call a beautiful ending. No shame, no pain, and the best part is that it was totally paid for. Thank you, CBN partners, for committing to restore lives in the remotest villages of Africa. Now, there are even more amazing stories on the show today, but you'll have to wait until after the break, so stay with us.
You were there when the water flowed and the children danced for joy. You were there when the doctors came and saved their little boy. You were there to speak the truth, send the gospel near and far. You were there to change their lives right from where you are.
Thank you, CBN partners, for making a difference around the world. Your gift of love has changed life and eternity for millions.
When hurting hearts reach out and cry, does anybody care? You were the one who brought the gift. Thank God that you were there.
Welcome back. We promised you more stories, but before we get into those, let's meet one of the people who make them possible.
Growing up wasn't too fantastic, it was a struggle. And having achieved some measure of success educationally and career-wise, and looking around and seeing people struggle with everyday life on the streets, driving through Lagos, there's this need that welled up in my heart to be able to give back to society in some way, no matter how small. So 700 Club just came through. For me, I stumbled across a program one evening and it aroused my interest. I joined the 700 Club in 2009 and it's been an exciting experience. Ever since then, I've been really blessed and God has been so wonderful in ways that I cannot mention. The aspect I like the most is where you help people find hope. For instance, having to put bore wells where people used to just take in any kind of water and doing your medical rounds or medical outreaches where people normally will not have basic health care. So for me, that's something that touches the heart because that's really a way to touch somebody inwards. I thank God for all He's done and I only hope and pray that I could give Him a much more larger capacity, and I know that will happen.
It wasn't just enough to work, play, and have a great life. Esien wanted to live beyond himself by restoring hope to as many lives as he could reach. You can be just like Esien, making a difference in communities across the globe to the neediest in society, regardless of tribe or color. All you have to do is partner with CBN Africa by giving a one-time gift of any amount or a monthly donation from 500 Naira to the highest donation level. Please say yes and contact us through any of the details on the screen and let's change the world together. Our next two stories are from the remotest villages in northern Nigeria, where two young boys get the chance to rediscover their childhood. Take a look.
Every day, Sharif struggled to do the simplest tasks, like picking up a book. 2 years ago, he was a regular kid who loved to play ball. Then one day, he was playing inside, close to a candle.
He touched the candle just for a second. Before he knew what was happening, his shirt caught on fire.
Sharif was probably wearing a shirt similar to this one. It's a very cheap, very flammable import from the Far East. All he did was touch his shirt to the candle, and in a matter of a few seconds, his chest, arms, and neck were engulfed in flames as the plastic of the material melted into his skin.
After 4 months in the hospital, Sharif went back home with scars so thick and hard he could barely turn or even lift his head.
It is so painful watching my son suffer. I don't want to think about it or remember what happened anymore.
When CBN found out about Sharif's condition, we offered to pay for a major corrective surgery that would loosen up all the tight scars. In no time at all, Sharif was back outside, playing with his brother and just being a regular kid again.
It is so nice to see my son play around the house and do all the things he loves again.
A few months after the surgery, we visited Sharif to see how he's doing. I was thrilled to see he could move his head and neck and had a full range of motion with no pain at all. As we played some games, it was great to finally see him smile.
We are so thankful. Someone out in the world reached out to help us. You didn't know us, but you helped my son. God bless you.
When Ayuba wakes up every morning, he cannot wait to get to school. It's quite a change. He used to be miserable at school because he had a cleft lip.
He told me that the other kids always picked on him. That made him very sad. He said he was always alone in class.
The children were so mean to him that eventually he stopped coming to school.
Ayuba's mother wanted to help him, but the family could not afford the surgery he needed.
I decided to trust God and pray that help will come someday.
Then someone told her about CBN and said we might be able to fix Ayuba's lip for free. Not long after that, CBN paid for Ayuba's surgery, and soon he had a brand new smile.
After the surgery, I couldn't believe my eyes. I kept jumping for joy. I wish I could give you some sort of gift to thank you for what you did for our son.
I want to say a big thank you to those who helped Ayuba. He is much happier now, and the children don't hurt him anymore.
I felt very bad every time my friends made fun of my lips. Now I'm so happy. I look good and I can go to school. Thank you for fixing my lips.
Beautiful, isn't it? Ayuba can now grow up without any sense of loss or shame. He can smile without holding back, spreading happiness and hope wherever he goes. That's thanks to you, CBN partners. You restored his smile, just like you restored Antonio's home in this next story.
Antonio was alone with his children when Typhoon Yolanda hit the Philippines. His wife had abandoned the family years earlier.
I took my children to an evacuation center where I thought they would be safe.
The howling wind was terrifying. Parts of the ceiling were falling all around us, so we hid under a table and a mattress.
Antonio and his children survived, but their house did not.
We lost everything in the storm except for an old TV set.
I was scared we would have to sleep on the street. I prayed that God would help us.
Antonio begged someone in a nearby village for a place to stay.
It worries me that the owner could ask us to leave any time. I work 2 jobs. In the morning, I prepare fried chicken to sell. The rest of the day, I drive a motorcycle taxi. With rent to pay, school costs, and daily meals, I've had nothing left for house repairs.
Their rental was also infested with mosquitoes.
When my sons got sick, I was afraid they had gotten dengue fever from the mosquitoes. I cried because I felt so helpless.
Then one day, Antonio told his children to pack their things. It was time to move.
He said we were going to a better place.
I was so excited that we were moving away from the mosquitoes.
CBN built the family a new home in a place we called a community of hope.
I like being in our new house. Even in warm weather, it stays cool indoors.
It's beautiful. There's a nice bathroom and kitchen.
My children and I can live here for the rest of our lives. I can't help but cry tears of joy. Lord, I thank you for giving my family our own house.
The house will withstand winds up to 150 miles per hour. CBN is also building a community center and marketplace where Antonio can sell his fried chicken as a business.
We are so thankful that CBN built us a house.
Thank you for providing all of these new homes.
From tough terrains to deep waters, bringing hope and laughter to homes and communities. Thank you, CBN partners, for helping Martha, who was almost going blind as a result of cooking over smoky fires. She had no hope for a better life until CBN gave her a pair of glasses and a brand new business. Now she can look forward to a bright future. The people of Buckinriga village are also grateful to CBN for digging a brand new water well right at the center of their village. Now the days of lack are over. Thank you, CBN partners, for putting smiles on people's faces.
Hello, glad to see you're still with us. News flash, if you didn't know, You Were There has a Facebook page. That's facebook.com/CBN You Were There. So keep in touch with us and let us know what you think or what your questions are. It's always a joy to hear from you. Plus, you get to see your comments on our feedback segment, which is coming up next. Thank you so much. We are always excited to hear from you. Your feedbacks encourage us to do more. And with that, we've come to the end of this episode of the program. Until the next time, be a hope ambassador by telling others about the transformation they can give by joining the CBN family. Have a beautiful week and goodbye.